Are you a barrel grip believer? Well, RIDGID may have a new one for you. We've got the new RIDGID barrel grip 18-volt brushless jigsaw. Has quite a few features on this, but still a very easy to use saw. Let's dig in and take a closer look at those features, then we'll use it and come back and tell you what we thought, as well as pricing and warranty. This is the RIDGID model number R86346B, as in bare tool, and it's their 18-volt subcompact brushless barrel grip jigsaw. A lot of words for one breath there. So part of their subcompact series, so supposed to be a little lighter, a little smaller. In fact, they claim 20% more compact and 15% lighter. What's that compared to? I don't know, probably a previous model, but regardless, we'll weigh it, measure it, and find that out. A lot of people do love the barrel grip jigsaw, including the majority of us here. So we do like to see that. We actually reviewed the D-handle jigsaw from RIDGID just a couple of months ago, so you can find that review somewhere floating probably around here. Find the link. But what we have here, we have a very simplistic jigsaw with several features as well. So when you get the bare tool, you get what you see here. You get a blade, and then you get an extraction port as well, and it actually slides back here in the back of the tool, so you don't have to run this. And let's talk about some of the features on this saw. Now, right here on the top, right in front of where you're holding it, is this speed dial, and it offers us 6 different speed settings, and actually there's little hash marks in between each one as well. So really it's more than 6. It's kind of a variable speed dial where you're setting the max strokes per minute, which is a max of 3,200. So in speed 6 there, you get a max of 3,200 strokes per minute, and they are 1-inch strokes. But then we have the A here, and that is basically the auto mode. And what that's going to allow you to do, it sets it in auto, then basically it starts at a lot lower RPM, or not RPM, SPM, strokes per minute. And then as you engage the wood that you're cutting or whatever you're cutting, based on the pressure, it actually speeds that up, provides more power, and tries to kind of give that sense of what it should be powering, and does a pretty good job of that for the most part. So we'll actually test that out and see. We also get 4 different orbit modes, really 3 different orbit modes. We have a non-orbit mode where we actually turn it off, and then 1, 2, and 3 is going to be the most aggressive, where we'll actually see this shoe right here, this wheel, actually push against the blade and actually push it out, giving it that orbit motion. So if you're wanting to cut very aggressive and you don't care about blowout, things like that, then you can set it on speed 3 and really cut through those 2x4s, plywood, whatever it is you're cutting. We have a power switch here on the left, so slide forward, it locks in, and pull it back, turn it off. As well as over here on the other side, this is an onboard blower. So this is the off position, so the blower's not blowing. This is the on position, and when you turn it on, you can actually feel the blower working. What that is supposed to do is kind of clear the blade area, so if you're cutting on a line, then you can actually see that the sawdust is being blown out of the way, so you can still see your cut line in front of the blade. And again, we'll try that as well. Now, hidden right here on the back of the tool is an Allen key, and what that's for is to actually adjust the bevel. Now, RIDGID claims on the website that this is a tool-free bevel adjustment. I don't see that it's tool-free when you actually have to use an Allen wrench. That may be a mistake, or maybe they're claiming since it's on board the tool that you don't need a tool, but still what you have to do is pull the base off here and loosen up this Allen bolt. And once you do that, you can slide this forward and then turn this to 45. And if you wanted anything other than a 45, then you can just adjust it and tighten up the screw. But if you wanted that either 45, then you slide it forward and it locks into place. You can tighten up that Allen screw and then cut any 45s, loosen it back up, put it into 0, and then tighten it back down. So again, if you want 0 or either 45, then that locks into like a tooth there. But if you want it in any other position, then it's not going to have a locking position. You'll just have to tighten up the screw to wherever you desire it. Right here on the rear of the shoe, you see a hole there. Looks kind of like an igloo. Well, that is actually where the dust extraction port is going to go. It slides in, kind of locks into place, and now you can hook up your extraction hose and be able to pull some of that dust away as you're cutting. Again, we'll test to see how well that does. On the D-handle version of the RIDGID saw, it didn't do a great job of that, and we wouldn't expect this to either, because you're really not sealing up any of this part up here, so it's just providing some vacuum right here behind the blade, which should pull some stuff in. At the same time, we're not expecting big changes in sawdust removal. Now we'll go ahead and put a 4 amp hour battery on here and just get some measurements on the tool. So front to back, a little over a foot, so about 12.5 inches long with the battery on there. And as far as height goes, a little over 7 inches, so probably 7.25 inches tall. And width on this, it actually is a pretty slim tool. The widest part is probably the shoe or the foot, and that's 3.25 inches. And at pounds and ounces with the 4 amp hour, 5 pounds, 8.5 ounces. So a 5.5 pound tool with the battery on it. So not exactly a heavy tool, but not the lightest of sorts either. Now you could slim that down for sure by putting on a 2 amp hour battery if you wanted to, but probably their 4 amp hour is their most popular battery. Now we do get a tool-free blade change. So you can see here, I can just take my blade, slide it in here, push it, and it locks into place. Now if I want to release that, no tool needed, take this right here, push it out, and it pops that out. And it also makes that ready again for another blade. Put it in, it locks into place. Let's throw a battery on here for a second. I want to see, I'm going to turn it on. And yeah, so we also get an LED light right there shining down at the blade to help us see our cut line. Okay, what we're going to try first, we're going to have the oscillation at 0, so basically no oscillation added to the tool, just the stroke up and down. We're also going to leave it in auto, and we're going to have the blower off. So no dust extraction, no blower on, orbit on off, and just see how it cuts in the auto mode. I will say it's easy to control. I am getting some dust here on the board, but really it's staying free of the blade right in front of me. I can see a clear sight line. It's very easy to see my cut line there. And I'm going to leave it in auto and we'll see how this operates. I'm going to back it off, turn it on. So you hear that low strokes per minute. Now watch as I engage. It's very easy to control it with the barrel grip, and I'm actually staying a ways from it since the camera's kind of in my way here. So I'm sitting probably 3 feet behind, at least 2 feet from this blade. And now you can see I'm starting to get some dust and particulate sitting right here in front of the blade. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to turn the blower on. And so now let's see if we actually clear some of this out. I'm going to back it off. That's pretty cool. Right away, you see the blower actually doing its job. It is now starting to clear that debris. I did not see that when we tested the D-grip handle of the RIDGID. And you can see how I can stay right on my line by having a great focus right there at the line, seeing that sight line, and the blower keeping it clear. So the blower actually does well clearing the sight line, but you can see we're still getting quite a bit of sawdust, obviously, from the cut. Let's see how much of that we can actually extract from the rear with the extraction port. All right, we're going to take our dust extraction port, put it right here in the rear of the tool. It doesn't really lock in, just kind of pushes in. I guess it does lock in pretty well. Hook up our hose. Make the same cut. Orbit is off. Turn our Dust blower off. And I'm noticing the same thing from when we actually reviewed the D-handle. The extraction port is really not pulling a lot of this dust away. I think the blower does a better job at just keeping it free from your sight line, and then you're just going to have to deal with the dust. So you're not going to get the performance of dust extraction like you would maybe with like a Festool or something like that. So really and truly, the dust port or extraction port on the RIDGID here, I really don't think it's even worth messing with having a hose hanging off the back. Let's turn on the blower. Let's do a couple of tests on this 2x4. Again, I've got it in auto mode. Make a straight cut. Now I'm going to change the orbit all the way to 3. Same auto speed. You can see it muscles through there rather quickly, but in that orbit of 3, you can see how much blowout you're getting. So you're getting all those splinters. So if you really don't care about the quality of the cut, you're just needing to make some really quick raw cuts, you can definitely use that orbit and be able to blow through that wood really quick. Now let's back this down to 1. So a nice balance there, still cutting through the wood rather quickly. We're getting the blower working, keeping the dust free. We are getting a little bit of blowout, but near of the rough spikes that we got on the orbit of 3. Of course, blades are going to make a tremendous difference when you're starting to make curves. So a slimmer blade, a Japanese tooth, things like that will definitely aid you in making these curving cuts, especially in that thicker wood. Now with this size blade, I will not be able to cut through 2x material. The blade is not long enough. So we put in some 1-inch hardwood. And again, I've got my orbit on 1. Let's leave it there, and then we'll make a bevel cut. And you see what happened, my blade actually slipped off of the foot. So it did not like that. If you'll look, the foot, the pin, actually came dislodged from its home, and it's now kicked out sideways. See if we can get the blade out. We'll see if we can't get that fixed. Okay, looks like I got it back in place. The wheel is now lined up with the blade. Okay, we're going to bail on the bevel for right now. Just try to make a straight cut in this hardwood. And we'll put that on orbit of 1. we're going to ditch this blade and a little slimmer blade on there, maybe with a little more bite. Definitely a lot more control in that blade than with the other. Even going to orbit 1. Blades can make all the difference in the world, especially when you're cutting hardwood. Overall performance of this saw is actually pretty good. In fact, it's very good in some areas. As far as power to blow through 2x4s, whether that be regular pine or pressure treated wood, redwood, this is going to do absolutely fine for you. Cutting plywood, cutting 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and other hardwoods, it's going to do fine. Now, when you get into thick bevels, that may be a different story. As you saw, it actually kind of kicked the foot sideways and moved the pin over. We had to take a screwdriver and get that back into place. We did so, and it did just fine after that. However, would I recommend it for hardwoods at a bevel? Probably not. If you're doing that a lot, either A, you definitely want to step into a better blade. That may not have happened with a better blade, but we're getting a lot of vibration, and you may say, well, you could have clamped it better. Yeah, maybe. We were still trying to hold it, and it still happened. Could we have done a better job? Always. We could have always done a better job at clamping it and keeping vibration, but as you saw, with the same clamp, with the same setup, with a better blade, we had tremendously less vibration with that better blade. So I would recommend, when you buy this, chunk this blade unless you're just cutting straight plywood and step into a better blade. As well as if you're doing a lot of bevels and hardwoods, you may want to look to a better performing jigsaw. Festool has them, but you're looking at triple the price probably. Furthermore, the dust extraction is pretty much non-existent on this. Again, I'm not counting against it for that. We didn't expect to see a whole lot from it. It may work better in other situations, but we really didn't notice it pulling much dust at all away from it. We felt like the onboard blower did a great job at just keeping your sight line clear, but as far as being able to remove or extract that dust as you're cutting, it just really doesn't do a lot, and mainly because there's nothing sealed up here to create that vacuum pressure to make it go down that hole. Just that sheer velocity of that with all this open atmosphere. There's too many places for it to go rather than down this small tube. So again, if you're looking for great dust extraction, you may want to step up to a more expensive saw. So price on this is $179 for the bare tool, so no battery. That's a lot for just a jigsaw, but at the same time, you're getting a subcompact, high-performing, brushless, 18-volt cordless jigsaw. So you are getting a lot for that $179. So it really depends on what you're using this for. You may be fine for a regular old corded jigsaw and you can stick with that. But if you're tired of that cord dangling behind you, you're going to get a lot of use out of a single battery with one of these. And you're going to get a lifetime service agreement with this tool as long as you register it within 90 days. We'll have the link in the description if you're interested. Also keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. And hey, if you don't mind, would you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already? And by all means, if you hated our video, well, give us a thumbs down. But would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day and keep smiling.